Okay. So, like I say, Chair, you do have a quorum, but we are expecting Kim, Lance, and Leroy. Lance is an alternate, so a little less critical. No offense to Lance.
Yeah.
But you do have a quorum.
Okay, I'm ready.
We all good, John? We set? Yes, sir. All right.
Are we ready to go? Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Monday, May the 3rd, 2021, located here at the Council Chambers of the Red Oak Municipal Center, 200 Lakeview, Red Oak, Texas. Tonight we have myself, Derek Parks, Chair. We have Willie Franklin on Zoom, and we have Mr. Scott Lindsay on the Zoom, and we have Kim Campbell also on Zoom. And here for city staff, we have Ben with the Director of Development Services and Brian, Planning and Zoning Manager. So the first agenda is approving the minutes of the regular meeting that we had on April the 5th of 2021. Commissioners, do I have any questions or concerns about the minutes?
No, sir, not from me.
All right, and can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Franklin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, minutes approved. Down to the new business, and the first item is agenda item B, and it's conduct a public hearing and consider zoning change from agriculture zoning district to single-family R2 zoning district on approximately 1 acre, generally located on Lot 7 of Block 5 of Deer Creek Addition Phase 2, located near the intersection of Deer Creek Drive and Beaver Creek Drive, City of Red Oak, Texas, case number Z as in zebra 21009, requested by Marco Gomez. Staff, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. Just so you know, since we've got severe weather headed our way, I'm going to try to be uncharacteristically brief. I don't want you to, but do feel free to ask any questions you feel need to be asked. This first case is pretty straightforward. The red triangle here represents an already platted lot known as Lot 7, and the applicant would like to build a residential home. So he's requested to change the zoning to R2, and that would be consistent with our comprehensive land use plan. It actually quite specifically says R2 is envisioned for that area. So by approving, it would be completely aligned with the comp plan in that regard. There's really not much else to say about it. I believe the applicant is here on the phone, I hope. And again, just so you can see that it is this is from the plat that was filed. So it's already platted as Lot 7. And with that, I'm going to stop and just take any questions you may have regarding the case.
And real quick, the reason we have to change it, it's currently zoned ag, and you can't build a single-family house in ag zoning if it's not directly connected to agricultural operations. So it's just this kind of technical item that we have to do in order for someone to build a house in that area, because it was annexed in later and given just a base default zoning of ag versus being brought in as R2. But then, like Brian said, the comp plan calls it out as being R2. So that's the reason for the change.
Okay. Thank you, Ben and Brian. Since this is a public hearing, we would like those in favor to go first. Please state your name and your address. And after those in favor, we would go to the ones that's not favor. And state your name and address also. So first we'll have those in favor of agenda item B. Please state your name and your address, please. if you're on Zoom. So I don't have anyone not in favor of this item. Please state your name and your address. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Public meeting has closed. Commissioners, any questions, any thoughts regarding agenda item B?
Franklin, I have no questions.
Okay, thank you, Will.
No questions from Lindsay.
No questions. It seems pretty straightforward.
Okay. And can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve item B as submitted.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda item B has been approved. The next item on the agenda is Agenda C, conduct a public hearing and consider amending PD 71R4 to amend the development plan, development regulations, to provide for an enlargement of an accessory building for property generally located at 196 North IH 35 East, City of Red Oak, Texas. Case number Z as in zebra 21006, requested by Barry Brewer. Staff.
Okay. So this case, you may remember a different iteration from just, I think, 2 months ago. Mr. Brewer owns the Hampton Event Center and requested, and both P&Z and council approved his request for the accessory structure for chapel services that was 1,200 square feet, plus some fencing and other stuff. But what's come up is after working with his architect, after getting the zoning approved, they figured out that they needed to do some practical changes, such as having a stairwell and a little hallway for access to get to the roof for the mechanical equipment. And so by basically it's extending the building to accommodate that,
Right.
it's, here, I should probably show you a floor plan of what I'm talking about. Let's see. So here's the stairwell and hallway I'm referring to. So this is what really kind of pushed it out in one direction, and of course keeping it the same width, but adding the length, plus maybe an extra foot or so. That's how he's getting from going from 1,200 to 1,908 square feet. So my understanding is we've generally got the same functional space. There's nothing changing. The use idea is not changing. It's just, I guess, as they kind of move maybe a little too quickly through zoning, as it were, they hadn't thought enough about the inside of the building. Because again, as I always say, zoning cares about the outside.
Right.
But we always try to impress upon people, but you got to figure out your inside in case things change on you, so you're not having to do this. And let me just give you, so that's just to explain the reason. Let me show you what the impact would be here real quick. So the site, it's in the same general location. So if you just kind of imagine the width being the same and starting from this corner, it's just that it went deeper in towards the interior of the lot. It's basically, I don't have an overlay, but if that made sense. You know, it's kind of, if you still imagine anchoring at this corner down here, it's just grown deeper but no wider. And so in theory, it's marginally more visible, you know, from the highway. But again, I mean, that's a highway. People are driving fast.
Right.
You're still going to have that wall on the perimeter that was talked about. Plus, he's already got that landscaping and everything. So all that's still the same. So your site conditions is just the footprint of the building changing. The elevations are basically just a larger version of what was shown before. Did ask just, for further clarification, like pointing out like the metal awnings to match the black ones on the existing main structure. So that's kind of the main point here is, you just want the building to look similar and complementary to the main. And of course, it's not that we don't trust Mr. Brewer, it's just we always have to be mindful of, you may not always own this building.
Right.
And things happen, so we just want to make sure the city's interests are protected. So we've got an image of the main building on the elevation for reference. So when we're saying black awnings or painted brick and all that, we got a visual reference. Not that we can't go look at it, but this just kind of provides in the paper digital record. And here's the building a little bit bigger. So the idea on the elevation is that, let's see, so the brick would be the gray paint color, and the stucco would be more the lighter color, and he'd do kind of the black cap on the top, and the awnings would be black. So again, showing you down here, he's got that black cap.
Right.
So, and it's probably hard to tell because it's in the shade, but this here is like a gray color. It's not white in the shade. It's actually a gray color in the shade. So anyways, that's the main thing that's going on. He had a need to increase the floor area because of basically addressing primarily that hallway.
Okay.
And really that's it. So I'll take any questions y'all may have.
And just real quick, the reason we have to bring this back before you, it seems so arbitrary and minuscule, but the ordinances don't allow staff to make leeway determinations when it comes to building footprint size. So because the building footprint changed, we have to bring it back through the commission and city council. But there's some instances where we could have just let them get by or let them make the changes just in the permit approval process. But because this was a PD and it's specifically, the ordinance, the zoning ordinance does not specifically allow us to make changes in the footprint, especially when it's a larger footprint, we have to bring it back through the process.
Okay. Thank you, staff. This is a public hearing, so those in favor, please state your name and your address, please.
Mr. Parks?
Yes, sir.
Michael Brawley, 321 Fox Hollow, Red Oak. I just had a question. I'm going to say on the far side, but is there going to be some type of rooftop or patio, something going on the roof?
No, our understanding from the applicant is the only thing that would be up there would be mechanicals. It is not for any kind of rooftop activities.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in favor of this item? I don't know if Mr. Brewer's on the phone. On Zoom, but.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Brewer.
Yes,
Thank
thank you for having me once again. But to address the hatch, it's just really to be able to access the mechanicals up top, and that's basically what the roof hatch would be utilized for. Other than that, I'm in favor.
Thank you, Mr. Brewer. Anyone that's not in favor of agenda item C, please state your name and your address, please. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion move.
Second.
Thank you. Public hearing has been closed. Commissioners, any questions about agenda item C? Anything that sticks out to you, anything that you want to ask questions about?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a question. This is Franklin speaking.
Go ahead, Mr. Willis.
More so for staff, if they could, for the PD, are there any lot coverage maximums or any accessory use max square footage is allowed since we are enlarging the structure?
There's nothing that speaks specifically to it. One could assume the highway-oriented zoning district as a reference point, and I believe that is a 40% maximum of rooftop over the lot. So that 40% maximum, again, is just rooftop. They don't look at, say, the parking lot as part of lot coverage, only rooftop, as it were.
Okay, so, and I'm assuming he's well under
Yes,
40%.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. And can I have a motion for agenda item C, please?
Motion to approve P and Z item is in agenda item C.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it. Agenda item has been approved. Agenda item C has been approved. Down to agenda item D, which is conduct a public hearing and consider amending Planned Development District PD 67 for a 7-Eleven convenience store with gas pumps and restaurants east of Hickory Creek Drive, being approximately 2.6 acres on Lot 2R of Hickory Creek Estates Phase 1 at I-35 East Ovilla Road, City of Red Oak, Texas. Case number Z as in zebra 21005, requested by Kevin Maston.
Okay.
Maston, I'm sorry.
We've got another sequel case, as it were. You may remember some months ago, maybe 4, we had a 7-Eleven is buying the property from our Economic Development Corporation and is desiring to put a 7-Eleven there. And before they were going to just do more of their typical convenience store, 7-Eleven with gas pumps. And the good news, I mean, we had asked before if we could have one of their cool new Evolution stores. And so they've now come back and said, yes, they can do that. So staff and the applicant in coordination with the EDC have talked and discussed this Evolution concept. So for this would be a 7-Eleven with Laredo Taco Company. Laredo Taco Company was acquired, I think, about a year and a half ago, as it were, by 7-Eleven. So it's owned by 7-Eleven, but it was at one time a standalone company. And so this is one of 2 Evolution store concepts. The other one is sort of a coffee shop, Starbucks type deal. So this is the taco version. And so it's the same location as before. Just wanted to give you that visual reference point. We're talking about Hickory Creek and Ovilla. Then let me get you. Show you the elevation here first. So they've been they've done about as good as a corporation can, because corporate's bureaucratic also. So in trying to address some of the concerns from the Economic Development Corporation, and staff, because they normally would have like a corrugated metal panel for some accent type material, but the city wasn't interested in that material, so they worked it out to instead do what looks like wood, which is the brown running vertical here.
Right.
It's made by Nichiha, if I'm saying that correctly. It's a cementatious synthetic wood that's meant to look like cedar. And then this would be a thin brick with thin stone. And of course, just in general, 7-Eleven signage and a lot of glazing here on the front. So, those are the materials. this is a side view from Hickory Creek. I believe we'll have another elevation. I could have sworn I saw the umbrellas because there's an eating area. Let me get to that. Then there will also be a fuel canopy and station that's kind of high up in front of that you just saw. So, so this is the fuel canopy. They've also clad the post with that thin brick to help kind of tie it together and look a little nicer. And so again, that would be out in front of the store. This is basically a monument. Well, it's meeting the monument sign standard in our sign code. Again, this is a PD, so I mean you can vary from the standard, but it's falling within being under the 200 square feet for a monument sign. Technically, this is a pole sign that has been masoned, but that's, as far as I know, talking with city leadership, that they are fine with that. Personally, I mean, this is going to be less visible at a lower level than if it was a masonry wall, which is what you'd normally do with the monument sign, is mason the whole base. So this way, at least, people can see through it, and there's less of the sign to see. So from my planning perspective, I think this is actually, if you're going to be this tall, 30 feet tall, this is the better way to do it. Then, let's see. Now on the site plan, okay, there it is. So this will be the eating area. They've also got a bike rack over here, again, because to the west, we have our trailhead for our park, our linear park. Plus you have a neighborhood in this area, so the idea also with having the bike park is to help encourage people to walk or bike there to get some tacos or whatever, not be completely dependent on the car. And it's heavily landscaped. This is all new, mix of trees. The landscaping plan is basically the same as before. What's changed, though, is this layout is wider. Before, they were only going to take in kind of a portion of it, and they were going to leave this other portion they were thinking of selling it off to, say, like a Wendy's or another fast food place. But in this layout, the 7-Eleven with Laredo Taco makes a lot better use of the lot for a single business, which also, from a planning perspective, will be a lot less crowded than if you try to also have two-bit auto-intensive businesses right there, driving traffic, especially right next to your subdivision. So it seems like this is kind of beneficial. Then y'all may remember, excuse me, y'all had approved, I believe it was a 6 or 8 foot cedar lap fence with topper closer in. Council wanted the masonry wall and all along the perimeter. And so that was what had been approved, was masonry wall all along this rear lot perimeter. Right. And talking with the applicant and the leadership, we're trying to accommodate. Clearly, this back portion is not really developable at this point, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just there's not enough room to try to squeeze in another business. So the idea here is to leave enough room between the street and the wall that you ensure that 7-Eleven's people can properly maintain that area and keep it nice, clean, clear, and cut. And also, it just gives a little relief so that way the people looking across the street aren't just looking like at a subdivision perimeter wall immediately across the street. It'll give them a little more depth. Plus, they've also got, I think the trees are almost 20 feet tall now along there, so they may just be looking at trees at this point. But you're still going to get the benefit, though, of having that solid wall, help mitigate noise. They're going to keep these trees down here. No one's moving trees away. So with that, I mean, that's the highlights. I don't know, Ben, if you think we need to...
No, that's, again, this is a site change, so we're having to bring it back for an approval.
Thank you, staff. This is a public hearing, and those in favor of this item, please state your name and your address, please.
Hi, my name is Kevin Matson. My address is 2560 King Arthur Boulevard, Suite 104, Louisville, Texas 75056. Appreciate everyone's time. Yeah, we are excited. This concept we've been rolling out in high growth markets. So Prosper, Frisco, Plano, now here down in the city of Red Oak. It took lots of studies in order for us to, or I guess, have the investment from 7-Eleven within the city of Red Oak. And I think with everything, all the growth that you guys have been having, and the EDC providing us the data of the growth that is happening there along Ovilla, has exponentially increased the interest of 7-Eleven on the site. And so that's why we're trying to bring Laredo Taco concept here, which will have elevated concepts within it when it comes to coffee and other beverage services, and other, food items that are for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we are looking at utilizing the full site. And then I guess the only other comment that I would just elaborate on is that masonry wall there in the rear. We just tried to push it back as far as we could to those trees, just to kind of create a clean 90-degree, from Hickory Creek all over to the residential lots and straight up north to where the KFC parking lot kind of leaves off. But that's all I got, and I'm open for any questions if needed within staff debriefing.
Thank you, Kevin. Anyone else in favor of this item? Anyone opposed to this item? Please state your name and your address, please. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Franklin, the second.
Thank you. Okay, public hearing is closed. Commissioners, any questions or concerns you have for the staff or Mr. Kevin?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I have a question since we're doing a change with the outdoor seating with the taco restaurant.
Right.
Brian, can you kind of do an overview of the area so we can see the neighborhood behind it?
Okay.
And I guess so, my main question is with the outdoor eating, would that by chance affect anything in their neighborhood or across the street as far as noise or music or anything like that?
Well, we wouldn't anticipate that. Here, I'll jump back to the site plan. Because across the street, that's going to be potentially another retail restaurant type use. You've got the masonry wall down here with the trees. So at this location right here with the outdoor seating, it's certainly, I guess it's certainly going to have some competition. I think with the traffic noise, meaning from Ovilla, and from what we understand, it's more just a quick place to be able to sit outside and eat. And we also kind of welcome that again with the idea of that trailhead being on the other side of Hickory Creek. We're still working on that parks and comp plan update, so we don't know all the details of where the parks and trail system is going to go, but that was one of the reasons for encouraging an outdoor seating area, was to try to take advantage of that.
Okay, so essentially the outdoor seating and the dumpster location, that shouldn't be an issue as far as the noise for the neighborhood across the street.
Correct.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
I was just going to say, I appreciate them moving the fence back. That was one of my concerns, was the neighborhood, but they've obviously addressed that. So it looks great on.
Yeah, I think council made a right decision on the permanent wall. I think we were talking about a wood fence just because we weren't quite sure how that thing was going to develop or finish out. But it sounds like they got a really good solution there coming in together with the gas station, and that masonry wall certainly will help shield any noise or whatever.
Right. Any more questions, commissioners?
No questions.
All right, and can I have a motion, please?
Motion move to approve. Item, I'm sorry, was it
D.
D.
item D? Thank you.
Second.
Leroy got it.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all ayes. Ayes have it. Motion, the agenda item D has been approved. And the last item on the agenda is item E, which is a staff update. The topic is a comprehensive plan update and a new parks and trails master plan. Staff.
So currently there's a Parks and Open Space survey that can be taken online by the general public to give feedback. This Thursday we have our steering committee meeting, and that'll be, steering committee is a fairly small group, but they will be working with the consultant on reviewing some of the work the consultant has produced, some of their analysis and research, some of their findings. So they're, we're starting to get to, kind of brass tacks, trying to start locking some stuff down. And so it seems like we're kind of, definitely more than halfway through the process. It's just been a time primarily for the consultants to do a lot of research and analysis the past several months. And that phase is kind of wrapping up. Again, with the park survey that's available online, they'll continue, I think, for another week or two to collect responses on that, and that'll certainly inform what people want or don't want for their parks. And that's pretty much it for the comp park plan update.
Thank you, Brian. And can we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I may interrupt before we close out, I just wanted to announce to those who may or may not have heard by now, tonight will be my last meeting. Fortunately, bittersweet, I'm moving on to city council. So tonight will be actually my last time serving with you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm sure we'll talk again.
Thank you, Mr. Frank. We appreciate your service, sir. Thank you so much.
No problem. So, Lindsay, when I reach out to you, don't ignore me.
Congrats, Willie.
Thank you.
I'm gonna miss you, but you'll do great on city council.
I appreciate it.
Glad you're going there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. The storm's hitting middle opening, guys, so get ready.
Okay.
All right, and we had thank you, commissioners. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.